Hello, I'm Rangaroo.
And I'm Graham.
Here today with Game 4 from the Wargame Bootcamp Discord, Elite Finals. We are on Apunjing Valley, and who are the guys playing today?
So, Rang, if you haven't noticed over the past, couple weeks, it's going to be the same players, but, just in case some new viewers are listening to us today, on the left-hand side here, we have NBK playing as Lanjit Mechanized, and on the right, we have Greyhound playing as NORAD Unspect.
Indeed, so we did see Greyhound last time pilot NORAD. Didn't go too well for him against the Soviets, so maybe in some blue and blue action, he'd do a bit better.
Well, I would say, if you're watching just our cast, it's currently tied 1-1 here. So, if this is a best of 3, this could be very decisive. But yeah, as we do see Greyhound rocking the NORAD once again. I assume based off tournament rules, Rang, that means since he lost with it, he can go ahead and use it again?
Yeah, I'm going to assume so as well, and we've seen him respond to the F-16 with an F-18 of his own.
Yeah, you see the instant F-18 call out. Multiple scout defenders going down right there for NBK. Just kind of trying to spot, maybe, do a little snipey action on some of the forward units for Greyhound. As we see, it looks like, NBK is going to go pretty standard here, Rang, and he's going to try and install Alpha with a strong mechanized push here at the start.
Yeah, Punching Valley is always a very interesting map to cast, because it is a very stale map. It was very, the lines get set up very easily, and it can be a very hard map to push. So I'm thinking this may not be as great for mechanized, because there's a lot more open ground where the super units can really be, well, super.
Yeah, it's also a hard position to assault for NBK where Greyhound's at. I agree that's probably the best place to push because it's the 2-point sector. And if you can entrench in that forest, town, building complex area, it's a strong position, but it's hard. It's a hard spot to take, and it's pretty easy for Greyhound, especially being unspec'd. He can get some fast motorized units up there pretty reliably.
Indeed. Because, with Alpha, you only have that little, stretch of territory. Really just the one building complex. It's extremely obvious where the CV is.
Yeah. And we actually have a big tank engagement going down, Rang, where the HA pulls up and it kills the Leopard 2, though there were 2 shots by the 2A1s, so it's going to back up, but he does kill one of the 2A1s.
Damn. Yeah, it's actually a very good engagement. You have Greyhound, only half HP on the HA, so he can pretty easily get that repaired, and that's exactly what Hero be doing. And this is what I mean in regard to the super units. If Greyhound can get good engagements like that with his super heavy tanks, you can beat up the mechanized 2A1s quite easily.
Yeah, the 2A1s are going to have a hard time dealing with HAs. Obviously, numbers for the 2A1s will matter, but right there, specifically, one 2A1 engaged separately against the HA, that's what caused it to get low health to begin with. And so by the time the second one was in the fight, the first one's already dying. So sure, he gets nice hits on it, like you said, but if the HA trades out at the 2-1, 2-1 this whole game, I mean, Greyhound's going to be in a really solid spot there.
And then just looking at the rest of the map, things have definitely solidified quite quickly. I mean, down south, really not a whole lot of play, though. Some light riflemen getting some actually pretty Gucci long-range snipes here.
Yeah, and like you said, Rang, this is going to settle down really fast. It's just the way the map orients itself. I think I talked about once in a cast. The road's actually kind of a good indicator. Besides the some of the town complexes, it's a very natural defensive position from Greyhound's side, and it's just kind of hard. Unless you get a really good push off the start, you're in for a slog.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, because especially as mechanized, you want to try to get those TQC locations. I mean, honestly, just good use of suppression, smoke, and, just trying to get your big blob of angry mechanized soldiers into those town positions, into those forest positions, is really going to be vital here for NBK.
NBK was trying to snipe the Cobra that had landed on the ground. The Milan missed 2 times in a row on the stationary Cobra, so now it's up in the air, and it's going to go ahead and evacuate. He's making a small little push here. This is nothing crazy. The riflemen are pretty low, so if he could get some infantry up there, he might be able to get in there, but he needs to push. Okay, and the Gepard does actually get the kill there.
Yeah. Does manage to get the snipe. And then the H Abrams still a little bit away from getting repaired, so
Yeah.
NBK does have like a good, minute, 2 minutes of opportunity here he doesn't notice to try to make his push happen. And if he can get into that forest position where the rifleman is, yeah, it will really put him in a good spot to start putting pressure onto Alpha.
Yeah, he really wants to get in that that forest town complex area. The Martyr obviously getting some shots in the ranges. That's a nice little pick there. But he's gonna need more armor or something to help zone that HA out. And the problem here is the 2A1 it really is outclassed by the HA ring. The HA might as well be a super heavy tank for all intents and purposes in this game. And I just have a feeling it's going to be hard for NBK to deal with that. The rifleman here, if he can get the Dragonairs in there, it'd be a really nice move for him.
Yeah, because one disadvantage, of course, of Greyhound is, especially if infantry tab, only taking up 1 Canadian Airborne.
Yeah,
Okay, he does have some Marines, but they are on very expensive transports.
Yeah.
It's really just going to be rifleman spam. So those HC Abrams, those Comvats, the eventual Nighthawk, it's going to have to do a lot of heavy lifting.
Yeah, and then we see the eventual Nighthawk. The Nighthawk is now ring, not it's not coming in later. And we see a target here, and I'm assuming it's gonna be that Danish infantry trying desperately to get that town complex. Yeah, and there you can go and see the paveways they are away. And is he gonna get the? Okay, so no, actually the Dragonairs good. I mean, a bad hit by the bad shot there by the Nighthawk. And so that Danish infantry is gonna live. Support fire up there by the Panzergren and the Leopards. And this is a really good move here by NBK.
Yeah, I love his push. He's using just the perfect amount of smoke to block off any long-range angles here. And you're seeing Greyhound immediately realizes, yeah, position's screwed. I got to pull back now, and he is pulling back quite a bit. So this is going to give NBK a really good amount of breathing room. If he can solidify those forest islands, he really just start spamming Milan 2s just to scare the HE Abrams array. And then it's just, phase 2, get into Alpha.
Yeah, and so he has a foothold in Alpha, and that right there, he can he can contest Alpha, essentially from this point moving forward. Now, like you say, he's going to want to isolate and lock down those little forest islands and make any push here by Greyhound costly. And like you said, the Milan 2 is the best way to do it because you can be really annoying, put them in multiple different attack angles right there, or defensive angles, and really make any push costly by Greyhound.
Yeah. I'd say it's Milan 2s are quite deadly. I forgot, it's 24 AP, so it's really 3-4 shots.
They just don't hit anything.
Yeah, you're not going to keep your Abrams, whether you like it or not, in that position. You're going to have to reverse it, and especially now, we gotten into the part of the map where it is just open field between him and the Abrams. He can really leverage those ATGM troops quite well.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good move there by NBK. He was dissuaded in the first attempt with some heavy losses, but second push in there, he gets a little lucky at the paveway miss. That was more like Serbia F-117, not Iraq F-117. And so he's able to go ahead and get in that town complex, but he's going to need to reinforce it and lock it down because there is also pressure in the Bravo direction. It's not a lot of pressure, but you have to be cognizant that Greyhound essentially is, NBK's left flank is basically up in the air for probably the entirety of this game moving forward.
Unless he does decide to try to leverage some, attack into Bravo, I doubt it. Just because it is only at 1 point, you just want to solidify the +2. That would do more than enough good. But we're also just seeing from Greyhound, he hasn't really responded, too desperately to losing that position in the Delta Alpha region. He's gotten a CV into Bravo. He hasn't really reinforced a whole much apart from that. He's getting a bunch of infantry, but a lot of the powerhouse is still at Abrams.
Yeah, I don't think he fears an immediate push into Alpha. Sure, his Nighthawk didn't quite do what he wanted it to do, but Greyhound's one of the best players in the game. I think he recognizes there can't be too much in the way of infantry that NBK just has right now. Because if you look around the map, where is he, pressing? Actually, there's a bunch of Canadian Airborne in the rear line for a Greyhound.
Oh yeah. There's a little power droppy behind enemy lines.
And at the same time, Live Garden for NBK trying to get alongside some of these roads. He might actually find a Wolverine if he keeps pushing up there. But anyways, yeah, Greyhound I think recognizes he's not in too much danger right now. And so he doesn't need to really worry about it quite yet. Obviously, I think if you're NBK, that's where you want to focus. But if you look at it, NBK is kind of putting units on his left flank here. He's trying to kind of solidify that line, I think, a little bit more before he commits more into Alpha.
Which is definitely the smart move, because if you overextend into Alpha and lose that position, especially later game, as, you know, this map solidifies quickly, it's going to be very hard. He's in a very unique opportunity right now to really leverage the Alpha push. He really can't afford to bugger it up.
Well, Greyhound's Canadian Airborne are actually decided they weren't going to go for full, you know, backline shenanigans. They're going right into Foxtrot here. Not a bad move whatsoever, because you know that the CV's probably in there. And so now the CV's on the move. Greyhound, that instantly tells him, Rang, that the CV is near him. And it is an infantry one. And Canadian Airborne will make quick work of it. So the Dragonaires are pushing left here. And that's just really annoying no matter... Oh, the F-16 just gets sniped with it. The block goes down, big loss.
Wow, the F-18 comes out of nowhere with the steel chair and just blaps him.
Yeah, that was definitely steel chair from the back, you know, hitting him. He's about to put him up against the steps. Could have been real nasty. Canadian Airborne and the Dragonaires go ahead and duking it out. I apologize, my Danish pronunciation is awful there. Oh, but the Nighthawk. All right, we'll see if the Nighthawk actually connects better here. And it completely eliminates all 18 of them. Bye-bye. See you later. I mean, to be real, that was, you know, off the top rope.
Yeah, you gotta love those those like guided bomb attacks. So this is precise. That was danger, goddamn close. But the Canadian Airborne, they're Gucci. They're fine.
Yeah, they're completely fine. You know, they were lasering the target right there, like in Transformers or something. You know, had it all lit up, and they got the crazy good kill. So the Liv Garden gonna engage, and I believe Liv Garden should beat out Canadian Airborne. I think CQC.
They're both shot.
Because of the MG3, right?
No, I think Canadian Airborne win because C7 compared to G3 is battle rifle.
Oh, is it really? Okay.
But it's minor. You always know the RNGs just of this game.
Yeah, I thought maybe the MG3 over the Mini-Me would...
actually...
I don't know, though. I could totally be wrong.
They're both the same stats, Mini-Me's, just a little bit shorter range.
Yeah.
A little bit
yeah, I guess CQC wouldn't really matter, but he's actually moves the Canadian Airborne in the open there, trying to get a different building, and it doesn't matter. MG3 makes quick work of them. Moving up to his MG42 predecessor, just murking a bunch of Canadians out there in the open. What is this, you know, the Netherlands, 1944?
Yeah. Really taking advantage of, you know, that very fast burst.
Yeah, definitely. Get a bunch of Canadians right there. Did you know any of them, Ring?
Well, I think it's a little bit past my time. They also, like, they disbanded, like, the Canadian, like, paratroopers in the 90s over some...
Oh, did they really?
Yeah, they did some controversies of, like, torturing people in Somalia.
Oh.
I know.
Canadian? Wow.
Yeah, I know. It was a whole thing. Pretty much like a bunch of frat boys from what I've read.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I never would have thought that. Well, because talking about frat boys, we see that an M110 has actually been brought out here, so that 203 trying to get some heavy work in. And I'm, you know, Rang, I like it when players bring out the heavy artillery. Nothing like, because the 110 is not that expensive, so it's not like you're buying like a Uragan or something. It's only 70 points, but with a 10 HE, you use it to snipe CVs or heavy equipment. A lot of times they can pay off for themselves.
Yeah, it's always very interesting, you know, whenever you see the big artillery pieces or, you know, the expensive mid-range stuff in a 1v1. Because usually it comes down to either a player buys it at a wrong time, or like misutilize it by not hitting, like, you know, the most important targets. In this case, on this map, heavy artillery is bloody based, you could say, because you need it for breaking down those solid defensive lines, and especially when, well, not so much in this case as Greyhound has a huge point advantage. Just getting those CV snipes, anti-aircraft snipes, huge dividends.
Yeah, the Martyr 2 here, I think is going to get the kill, or it's really close to killing the command squad. 1 HP, light rifleman trying to snipe the Martyr 2. He tanks that first shot. With a couple more dragon rounds left. Oh, and I missed the
shut everything down.
Yeah, that's going to be a major shutdown.
There we have like automatic flak Panzer and Ethos Hawks, so that longbow has pretty good range to, or just bugger up any armored vehicles, which is just, you know, dare make their presence known.
Nighthawk out flying around as well. And that's where it gets kind of hard, I think, sometimes, rank from when you go against like NORAD, when you really let them set up and get those unicorn units out onto the battlefield, they can just do so much damage, and it doesn't take a long period of time for them to start accruing value.
Mm-hmm. And especially now, because you've seen Mechanized with NBK, he's just kind of holed up in his forest. He can't, stick his head out, otherwise he's going to get blapped.
Oh, Nighthawk just
nope.
lived.
Oh, that's so close.
Yeah, that was a nasty hit there, but it's not going to get the kill. Though I don't know what the Nighthawk, would it blow up a truck?
I wasn't really paying attention. Maybe it had stealth bombs.
It had stealth bombs.
Yeah, it was like a suppressor on the end of the bomb, so you don't even know. It's like what they do with recon tanks in this game.
I'm actually kind of surprised that the M110 hasn't been able to get the snipe yet on this command squad. I mean, NBK knows exactly where it is. Like, there's really only 2 spots it can be in, and he just needs a near hit. Though the Livgarden are pushing up here. There's nothing really to help them, but I think 17. We'll see. I think he should be able to get in that complex there. Though, if the artillery fire is coordinated well, it should suppress most of the Canadian Airborne.
Yeah, it's going to be very important if he can get into that complex. So if you can lock that down for a few minutes, then you can bring in reinforcements, and that's Foxtrot shut down. You bring in some Milans, you're good to go, and that's a constant plus run which you can keep under control quite easily.
Yeah, and it's big because the Bravo push has really stalled out for him. I mean, look at the Leopards, almost all out of ammo. I mean, out of fuel. Need some gas up there. But on the other end, because of the open terrain there, like you talked about with longbows, HAs, it's just going to be really hard for NBK to go any further. So, I mean, he can obviously, put a CVE in there and decap it for a little while, but it's obvious where it's going to be located.
Honestly, might just be his best bet. It's just that I think any more offensives from his end, especially with all these ship units on the field, is going to be difficult. I mean, it's going to be risky putting CVs both in Bravo and Alpha. They're not going to survive, but they can probably live long enough so he can actually catch up to Greyhound. And there is 22 minutes left in the match, so he has time. Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, especially I think there's a little more flexibility in the Bravo area, the forest there, to put up like a Leopard 1 command take or something. Oh, these Dragonairs pushing out, trying to probe. And once upon a time, there was no infantry there, but right now there's 27 riflemen. We have Rangers, and the mortar's open. And these poor Danes just getting massacred out here in the open. This is why they don't fight in wars. And you just watched it.
Mm-hmm. I've got an A-10 as well, just flying around down south trying to find some juicy target, but there's not a whole lot of juice. Oh, longbow going in. Gets the martyr.
Yeah, and there's no real reason to overextend the longbow whatsoever, because for one, NBK doesn't actually have a lot of good, like you talked about already, Reg. He doesn't have a lot of really good tools at dealing with the longbow, so he's going to kind of need Greyhound to mess up to a certain extent to get a really good shot on it. And so if you're Greyhound, you might as well... the presence of it alone is actually pretty massive right now.
Because it counters, the Milans in regards to range and just, hey, you're going to do any sort of push, because you're always going to bring armored vehicles, you have to. It's done, it's over. The longbow just annihilates it. It's almost like it's, the best unit in the game.
No, the best unit in the game, we all know, is the Ontos. Come on.
I forgot.
I gotta keep you honest.
It's true. My 6-shot rootin' tootin' American 1960s cowboy.
T-80UM, best unit in game. We do see that NBK is actually trying another push here, but it's up in the Bravo to get into the town. This is actually pretty nice because he's able to leverage his 2A1s to get. Oh, he misses the shot on. Did he miss on the HA or did it? I think he missed, yeah. He's backing up there, but he needs to be careful. The Thunderbolt's up in the air. The longbow is a little further back, so... Oh, but the Dragonairs are actually getting engaged here by the 50 cals, the M13s, doing a lot of damage because all they have is the law.
Yeah, going to get blapped, yeah. You see, he keeps trying to do, like, small little maneuvers here and there. Yeah. Of course, with Mechanized, you can kind of afford to do that, but it's not really getting him anywhere.
Yeah, and Greyhound Rifleman spam, it almost makes it feel like he's a mechanized deck ring. There's Riflemen everywhere on this map right now, more down south than Foxtrot. There's going to be another 3-stack going in there as the Danish infantry try and fight off them and their Canadian counterparts. He needs a little bit it's almost like NBK's lacking fire support in some of these fights. You know, I mean, just in a couple areas, you know, something with an auto cannon, you know, a tank that had survived here or there, and it would be decisive wins for him. But instead, he's kind of losing a lot of them by small margins.
Yeah, yeah, and it's just a longbow getting a snipe here and there, the HE Abrams zoning stuff down the machine. Oh, it's getting in close.
Okay, so it's
out of fuel.
It's the Panzer Grenadiers trying to commit here using the Panzerfaust 3. The other Leopard needs to come up. Oh, and it misses, and then it goes down. But it does get a shot there from the Panzerfaust 3. It does get a frontal shot weapon jam, but the smoke's going to screen off. And with the Leopard 2A1 back there, Rang is going to live.
Did you see what he did to the Leopard 2A1s there for a second? I think I don't know if this mechanic actually works, but he grouped them up together because I think it like splits the fuel 50-50 between both units.
Oh,
so so it'd like refill it halfway so he could reverse. I think that's what he tried to do. Please confirm that, NBK, in the comments. I know you're watching this.
Oh, and the poor Leopard 2A1 just got annihilated. But the Nighthawk goes down to the Hawk, but the Nighthawk's done a decent chunk of damage already. So, obviously, you don't like to lose it, and I talked about that last game. It can be really painful losing your Nighthawk, but the game's in a very different state. Greyhound has far more momentum than NBK does right now, I think.
100%. I mean, just looking at Alpha, he's pretty much been able to clear it and get a good position back into the forest town area. And then, like you said, it is just rifleman spam. Yeah. But it works, because, yeah, they're not great infantry, but they have excellent fire support backing them up. They're just holding the line, being, you know, the punching bag, so, you know, longbow or Nighthawk can blow stuff up.
Yeah, and I think a good point that you made earlier is because it is a lot of 10-point on 10-point infantry here, and that's, you know, there's no real way, or we at least haven't seen it, where NBK is actually using his superior infantry across this map. I mean, the Martyr 2s, they really haven't done... Oh.
Automatic got blapped.
Yeah, I got blapped right there.
Of course, really good to see playing the A10. Much better than the Electric Voodoo. I don't know where he even takes it.
Oh, these Canadian Airborne are making moves down south there towards past Echo. He might be able to get a snipe on this Milan team that's in the M113. Oh, and those could cause just even a little bit of pain. Could force NBK to spend valuable resources hunting down a two-man squad just running around back there.
Heck, even if capture... Oh no, this light truck's gonna be way too far. It'd be really funny if he gets the RT.
Nasty hit right there. Yeah, and look at NBK calling out units right away, recognizing there's something in his backline and he needs to protect his artillery piece, which I think he's kind of forgotten about a couple times. Because ever since he got that CV kill, we really haven't seen its impact on the battlefield.
Yeah, he's just kind of been leaving it. Yeah, and with artillery, it's really got to be constantly firing for you to get your bloody money's worth out of it. Well, to an extent, because you always have limited supplies, but in this case, I mean, it's not like you're going to go through an entire FOB with only one of those things.
Yeah, we see NBK committing to the infantry push here up in Bravo. He's killed a lot off the riflemen here, though the Navy SEAL is going to try and lock this down. But any little bit of armor should be able to deal with them. And even the 1-3s right there will be effective screening that off. But he needs to lock down his right flank, because now his right flank is up in the open in that position there, because he has been knocked out of the alpha position completely.
Yeah, it's just looking across the map. He's really just been knocked off his pedestal quite a bit. And like you said, it's just a small little bites here and there from Greyhound, where he's getting these victories. And, you know, at this point, NBK, all it really has left is, you know, the infantry spam, of course, with mech, and then 1 or 2 Leopard 2A1s, but the 2A1s really haven't been that effective. They keep getting shut down by the HA or longbow. Yeah,
I mean, that HA's still alive, and there's at least 3 dead Leopard 2A1s so far. So, I mean, it kind of tells you all you need to know about how the tank engagement's gone here. He hasn't ever been able to get multiple 2A1s engaging the one HA, except one brief engagement, and then one of the 2A1s immediately died. Oh, and the D-track instantly on his 2A1. Random crits coming in just when you want to see them. He's trying to snipe the infantry CV there in the back. He actually gets really close to doing it. But he's going to need more than CV snipes to put him in, I think, a winning position right now, Rang. Because it does... I mean, to be honest, it almost looks like Greyhound is the mech player.
It does. Yeah, just... those rifleman cards really come in quite well. And it's not even Bradley Rifleman, which is what you usually see. Someone
Right,
just takes like one card of the Bradley rifles because, hey, you know, it's like a cheap tank, so to speak. But no, just regular rifleman's working really well, and he's done, for the most part, a really good job keeping his super heavy stuff alive.
Oh, and the 2A1 just takes a nasty hit from a Maverick to the front, all causing a reset right there. So whatever you want it to do, he's going to have to reset. He's going to have to resupply it. And he's just bringing out a Leopard 1 command tank, which, I mean, obviously he needs because he's taking, you know, he's losing, excuse me, because Greyhounds has the +1. So he's going to at some point have to stop this because we're past only 14.5 minutes of this game ring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's...
Or Leopard killing something else. Or Thunderbolt
pretty
killing something
tight.
else.
Then we're already seeing pushes into Delta here from Greyhound. He actually doesn't have a great foothold in it, but the line's pretty clear for him to bring in some reinforcements. I think, yeah, that's what he's going to be doing. He's got 2 regular Abrams, and then the Command Abrams being brought in, so...
Yeah, that's very aggressive right there out of Greyhound. That's him recognizing that the front there is broken. And that's what we talk about sometimes, Rank, is game sense. His game knowledge and game sense is so good. He recognizes there's nothing in front of me here. I'm going to get a CV out. I already have armor and some infantry going up. And because capping Delta would be a death, you know, essentially the nail in the coffin for NBK.
Oh, looking Foxtrot. The 1M113 and the Marder 2 are going at it, trying to hunt the command squad.
I mean, the Abrams. But the Abrams are coming down the road here, both missing. You know, if he just stops real quick to be able to get them. But, I mean, even then, the command squad's going to be able to get back in there. So he's sure he pushes it away for a little bit. I mean, the Marder 2 needs to cut, I think, a little bit to the right. But there is infantry there. I mean, they're lost, so it'll take a minute to kill the Marder 2.
Mm-hmm.
But NBK's, I mean, he really is on the back foot right now. Even if so he's going to get a kill here on this, yeah, right as he starts getting shot by these Abrams. And actually, I kind of thought those Abrams would go towards Delta. Oh, he's calling out a Blackhawk, Mr. CD?
Oh, he just... he just hit his own Marder 2 with the heavy artillery.
Yeah. Rip. Blue on blue.
Blue on blue. The bluest on blue.
Yeah, this is legitimately blue on blue. Oh, the Command Abrams might be going... Oh, never mind. I thought it might be going to Foxtrot, but... Because he called out another CV, which is... Kind of surprised by that. A little more infantry towards Delta. I mean, actually, he could almost call out the... Okay, there's the Hawks a little bit back there, and then there comes a Gepard. And that's actually kind of painful for MBK, Rang, buying out more AA at this current time when there's a hole in his line.
Yeah, and he really needs to plug his gap. Okay, he's getting some infantry. But...
Nice kill by the 2A1 there on the move, too.
Yeah, at least this is some engagements the 2A1's going to get some dubs in just against regular Abrams, but at the same time, so to worry about longbows, so to worry about A10 flying about, being an absolute pain in the arse, so he can't just, you know... And then also, once again, close range, those M runs can actually do a decent amount of damage to the 2A1s.
Killed the longbow.
Pardon?
What killed the longbow?
Oh, something killed it?
I mean, I don't see it.
Oh, no, you're right.
Well, I'd like to take your attention back to Echo. The Canadian Airborne are in the base.
Oh my god. The 2 guys are going in. They're hunting, but oh, there's base defense.
Yeah, and there is base defense. I mean, infantry right on top, so it's not going to do anything. But it might cause him to spend more time and more resources trying to clear out his backline. I mean, everything MBK's isn't sending immediately to the front right now to restabilize his position, but also counterattack is just further solidifying Greyhound's lead.
Yeah, and with only 11.5 minutes left, yeah, it's still to catch up to over like 180 odd points.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a bit of an ask.
Yeah, at this point in the game, it's very hard because you're gonna need the +2, and it's very difficult to see where's the +2 going to come from for MBK. I mean, he's building up some forces to make a couple of counterattacks here. I think he might have enough firepower in the middle, maybe, but...
I think up north. I think it's going to take too long for him to get back into Alpha, but up north...
Yeah.
I mean, the scene where the Dragoneers are going right now, if he just hooks around through, yeah, big mechanized push using the forest as cover, he could at least knock out that zone and get it to a +2.
Yeah, I guess that probably could work. But it looks like to me MBK is kind of sending a little bit here, a little bit there. You know what I mean? They're pretty much going everywhere on the map. He's not really consolidating for one giant push anywhere, which maybe that would be the right move. I still think like it's hard these 1-point sectors here to win off that. Like he's gonna need Alpha, Ray.
Yeah, if he really wants to try and solidify it. Or at least just sniping it for a little bit. There's just two CVs in it, so that's going to be a bit difficult.
Yeah, it's going to be a pain for him for sure. The KWS comes out, and it feels like for me, the fighter call out is a too little too late. Because at this point in the game, he's basically suffered under American air superiority for 30 minutes. Mm-hmm. And now this, I think this is the first fighter. No, there was the Danish F-16.
The F-16 earlier on, because it's not, apart from that, it's been some of the ground-based AA, but he hasn't really been getting that many good kills. I mean, those A-10s have been running absolute havoc the entire match.
Yeah, nice shots there by the M110, the big 203. He's getting some work done, doing some damage, forcing back the CV and its accompanying infantry support. The Mara 2 going to engage right here. Always engaging the Black Hawk. Voodoo coming in, trying to get a snipe on something, but the Gepard's radar is off. Mm-hmm. But these Panzergrenadiers are going to need some more support. Like, the Leopard 2A1 needs to be up there with them, but he's too worried about the air power from Greyhound.
Yeah, and you see these two M1 Abrams, he can afford to just send it. He's going to clear up all the infantry, and that central push is going to be shut down.
Yeah, it's already hurting. The Thunderbolt, he's going to back up. He's going to try and send it down south here. There's just Stinger teams. And all these, even these transports getting popped, you know, the M2s could be enough to clear out the Navy SEALs. Though to be real, he doesn't really need to commit, I think, too much more to Foxtrot. Just try and go defensive and hold what you have. Because, you know, he has a decapped, and I just don't see Greyhound in the immediate sense spending points to recap it.
Yeah, and Greyhound's still in a good spot, because he is getting a plus run right now, which is even better for him, with only 8 minutes, 20 seconds left, so he just needs to not really bugger up. It's his game to lose.
Yeah, absolutely. We see the M1, the Command Abrams pushing up there to the front. It's going to go, oh, he's going to go chill right there. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and he has a nice little foothold in Alpha, and the 110 really hasn't done a lot. I mean, a couple nice hits, but nothing crazy, and every second that he holds longer in Alpha just is painful for NBK.
Mm-hmm. And it's been a pretty bloody attack into Delta so far. We're seeing pretty much round 2 here of NBK, but the Canadian Airborne holding the line. I mean, the Armadas can do damage if they're not getting Carl Gustavs.
Yeah, and the Rangers are actually out of ammo there, so the Mark 2 rolling up Centurion Marksman, valiantly trying to hold off there. The Bison coming up to try and grab the CV and evacuate him.
Move!
But he's not moving, he's not moving! Oh, the Mark 2's gonna roll right up on him here. And yeah, he says, Alvida's in.
That's good for NBK at least, for being able to clear out Delta. This is about, he only has 7 minutes left. It's gonna take him a couple minutes to even get into Alpha.
Right.
If everything goes well, which, you know, Murphy's Law, that's not the case. And then even more time bringing up a CV.
Yeah, to be honest, nothing's really gone, I think, well for NBK here. Like, not that NBK has played a bad game by any means, but nothing's really broken his way. And so now, as he's trying to claw his way back into this game with a little over 6.5 minutes left, it's a hard ass. He does have the +1, but Foxtrot's not really that solidified. And we know right now the Leopard 1 on the move in Bravo, that needs to stay in its spot, but there's really, you know, he's got to be careful with it because all it has is an M41 covering it.
But we're seeing the Scout Defender going behind enemy lines. There's no FOB for it to bully whoever, so he just has to content himself with a CV snipe. That's probably not going to happen.
Ooh, Gepard opening up on the Thunderbolt and direct firing right into it. Look at just tanking those 35mm shells.
What's this,
It's built different. It looked like it right there. It finally does go down. I mean, do you see how many shells it took straight into its side?
Titanium bathtub, bro.
Titanium bathtub indeed, except, you know, he crashed through the floor right there, and he's down for the count. And the F4F, excuse me, getting a kill in the Electric Voodoo as the Scout Defender is getting ready to go in right now. The TV squad is moving. Oh, is he going to be able to find it? If he could snipe the command squad in Charlie, that would be massive for NBK. But he's going to the opposite side, Ray. No. He's not going to the back.
Yeah, this is going to screw him over. It's not enough time.
Honestly, too cheeky for his own good. He probably thought, based off the movement there, that it might be in, you know, that portion of the map there. But I think you always go to the rear. Because And look, now he's gonna just keep flying it, and now it's basically worthless.
I guess he realized, hey, I did my move, I didn't spot anything. I'm just gonna see if I can do something into Foxtrot, but there's not really too much he can do. Okay, he's going into Alpha now.
He's going to Alpha, but there is a Hawk there. Now, it only has one loaded missile, but that's all it takes to kill a Scout Defender. I mean, he's going to have to hope that... Oh, no, it has 2 now. So he's engaging the Hawk. He does get a stun, but it only has 14 rockets, so it's not like the Scout Defender is some... Yeah, he actually fires the rest of the rockets.
Spots the CV, but... Yeah.
He does spot the CV.
Not really doing too much, yeah.
The 110 needs to immediately retarget the CV, but you know that, I mean, he's busy trying to snipe it there, just dropping 2 or 3 rounds pretty much everywhere in Alpha. And unfortunately, that's actually been kind of the name of the game here. This 110's been more just trying to CV snipe, and it hasn't, it's been very haphazard in the way it supports the ground fight.
Yeah. It's always the difficulties to bring in the super heavy artillery. I mean, of course, it could have paid itself off quite well.
The longbow going in.
Oh,
he's looking for
my God.
The Stinger team. Peace Ryan dives in on top of it. It's down to 1 HP. Longbow just tanking Vulcan rounds right to the side. And it does go down. The Stinger getting the kill right there. But the Peace Ryan dies as well. And while it is at 167, it's gotten a lot closer than I would have thought 10 minutes ago. I think NBK's ran out of momentum in the middle completely.
Yeah, really is amount of time left. He's not gonna have enough points. He managed to do a very good job flipping things over into Bravo here, but just doesn't have the time. Clock is not on his side.
He needed the CV snipe in the back.
He did. He really did. I would just gave him also momentum in regards to no units being brought out for at least a couple minutes.
Yeah. And I mean, he keeps trying to snipe the CV in Alpha, but there's so many different buildings, right? The M110 fires pretty slow. It's not the, it's not a Malka, right? It's just not as good as something like the Malka. So you just see it just really hasn't succeeded too often in getting snipes. He's had, every time it's gotten a real kill, he's had, a lot of evidence that the CV's in that location.
It really a good recon support, to make those super heavies worthwhile, or to be really game on marking anti-aircraft units when they fire, but he hasn't really been needing to do that because he hasn't been using a whole lot of aircraft.
If he set the Scout Defender right into Bravo, he would be able to snipe the TACOM at least, or at least spot it immediately for it to be sniped, but he's diverting it off. I don't know why he keeps sending it south there. There's nothing, I mean, maybe to save the Leopard 1?
Maybe. Maybe it's actually trying to use those 14 rockets to great effect.
No, it's going to be wasted on the Bison. Actually, the Leopard 1 can just tank the Navy SEALs. Like, they're not a threat to him. I mean, there's 2 minutes left here. He's going to get roughly here to 200 points. But I don't think that's not going to be enough to get the lead here. He needs a little bit of a +2.
Yeah, and even then, I think even a +2 right now, it's not enough time. The game's pretty much done.
Yeah, and the Greyhound with a Bison, with an infantry CV, is moving into Foxtrot. He actually took his CV from Charlie, loaded it up, left the command Abrams there, so you can go ahead and get one in here. And the Leopard 2A1 getting engaged here by the Leopard 1, excuse me, not even a Leopard 2A1.
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah, he's dead.
He's big blapped.
He's big blapped, and with it, NBK's chances in this game were blapped. Yeah, and then the CV gets the cap right there. +1 Greyhound. Minute and 15 seconds left. And Greyhound is going to go ahead and get the dub in this game, Ring.
Yeah, and damn, that will mean it will be, well, a free run to Greyhound, and he does take the big dub for the entire tournament.
Yes, he's going to go ahead and win the tournament off this. Try to make it seem like it was 1-1 for the viewers there at the start. At least because, according to our cast, it was 1-1, right?
We just skipped game run because it was only like 18 minutes long, and we like to give you that long game, baby.
Right, we give you that long experience.
The full 40.
The full long and hard experience. And actually, look at the KD there. Extremely even, Ring, and I have to say that I think that was the best game we've casted out of the whole series.
Yeah, and I'm actually quite surprised by that because I usually hate casting Plunging Valley, but they both made it actually quite dynamic. And NBK, once it just came down to time. Like, he was gaining that momentum a little bit later, but
Greyhound never let it
sit back.
Yeah. Greyhound got the early lead, and he did such a good job of holding on to it and trading efficiently. And as you see right there, I mean, they're within 40 points of each other in KD. But the big advantage is when you have a 200-point lead, Rang, that's a form of pressure in and of itself on your opponent. And so NBK was constantly having to be aggressive in different areas of the map, and Greyhound's game sense, allowed him to exploit NBK's weaknesses multiple times, and just enough of it was able to get him a dub.
It's pretty much a reverse of what happened last game, where Greyhound got buggered over in the early game, and NBK could just sit back and use the super heavies effectively. He just, using the same deck he lost with, just took the same principles of, hey, I bring longbows, I bring Nighthawks, I just blow your crap up, because mechanized on that map, as you see, doesn't really do that well. It's, the one aspect of Mech Gang where it does actually fail, and Greyhound completely exploited it very well.
Yeah, he did great, and the Rifleman spam worked out excellent for Greyhound, because it felt like multiple times he had just as much infantry as NBK did, so there was never a point where it looked like, okay, NBK is just going to overwhelm him completely in multiple areas of the map. That really never happened. There were a couple moments maybe where he had brief superiority, but there was, Greyhound did a really good job of constantly having a presence on the map, using his, more elite unicorn style, because that's what it is. They're unicorn units, the F-117, the longbow, but using them to great effect. But not even if they were getting kills, they were zoning NBK out. And that, you can't really put a price tag on that, but that's just such a massive win for Greyhound when they're succeeding in that category.
Yeah, just keeping NBK holed up in those little forest sectors, and he had a very hard time really maneuvering. The times he did maneuver, it was always extremely costly, because he was forced out in the open.
Yeah, poor Denmark has probably no male population left.
Yeah, it just killed the entirety.
I mean, I feel like the whole army, the whole Danish army died in that one Nighthawk strike.
In some weird valley in the middle of Asia, for some reason, fighting the Americans and Canadians. Gotta love Wargame.
Gotta love Wargame Red Dragon.
But no, fantastic. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna shit on War now.
Really? You would do that? Wow.
Why would I do that? Unheard of.
Yeah, that was a really good set of matches. Really, once again, these are some of the best bloody players in the game. Yeah. Next time we're gonna be covering the bronze matches.
Oh.
So stay tuned for that. We got more elite action.
Hot
indeed. Thank you very much for watching, guys. And as usual, please just take it easy.